Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. So today is a day 10. We've been talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum about day 10. So hope you guys enjoyed it. So today is as usual we're going to talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum, but more specifically to discuss about how the Bitcoin and Ethereum are changing on the chart. So we're gonna talk about specifically about Bitcoin and Ethereum, how the network was changing and how's it going. And we're gonna discuss about Bitcoin and Ethereum. So let's take a look to the Bitcoin right here. First of all, talking about the upcoming FOMC meeting, also known as the third meeting. So in fact, it will be happening at GMT. So basically, the entire market has already priced in the 25 basis point hike, which means if it doesn't happen, we shouldn't really see too no much volatility. But if we see anything of other than a 25 basis point hike, which might if see too much volatility, but if we see anything other than a 25 basis point high, that could bring about a lot more volatile in the market. And generally speaking, the lower interest rate aren't that more bullish. That should be for markets, and the higher interest rates are the most bearish. That should be for market. So basically, because the market have already priced in for another 25 basis point hike happening tomorrow. Once again, if that scenario plays out, then that's relatively neutral for the market. But if we see no rate hike, so if the Fed keep interest rate the same tomorrow, then that would be considered the bullish scenario, as we could see a move back to the upside. But if we end up seeing the Federal Reserve raise interest rate about 50 basis point, once again rising interest rate up by half of a percent, that in that case, considering not much of the market is really pricing for, obviously we would likely see a short-term dump across the market. And now if we end up seeing the expected outcome, the outcome that's already been priced in, once again, 25 basis point tomorrow, then as I just said earlier, we shouldn't really see a lot of volatility. If that happened, but we could still see some short-term volatility around the Fed press conference, which happens around half hour after the Fed interest rate decision. So once again, the Fed interest rate decision, when we actually get the new interest rate number that come out at 6 p.m. in the GMT time zone tomorrow, the 27th of July. Then around half an hour later is press conference, and basically depending on what he says, the Federal Reserve is thinking about rate moving forward that could also potentially affect market in the short term. But as always, I will be updating on all of this real time as soon as it happen over my. So so we're going to see about Bitcoin part of this slide on the day 10 Bitcoin chart. Obviously, as right now, the super trend indicator is the green, seeing in the larger multi-month long bullish trend like what we saw back here in the last 2020 and 2021. So back here, 2021, and also technically speaking, this simply means the larger multi-month long trend. I played it is still currently a bullish trend forming higher here on the larger time frame despite the current short term. So it is important to understand that even though I might be a little bit more bearish in the short term on the smaller time frame, that doesn't necessarily change what's happening here on the larger time frame. Just like how we can obviously experience short-term bullish price action during a larger bearish trend on bear markets. But anyway, if you look at obviously right now, Bitcoin is getting rejection from this strong area, which goes up toward approximately 31,000, and on top of that, as I have been saying almost every day over the last almost 1 week, over 1 week, we have a bearish divergence currently playing out on the daily time frame, which means we should not really be expecting a lot of bullish momentum in the short term, and we're likely going to see either some short choppy sideways press action, uh, as if not a slight pullback in the price of Bitcoin at the mostly likely outcomes for a bearish divergence. And so obviously this has been playing out as expected so far. On top of that, if you're looking at the Bitcoin Mac, this is still looking more bearish than the bullish as at right now. But it is worth point that daily Bitcoin RSI is getting closer towards oversold territory. Obviously, we're not there just yet, which technically means we still have some roof left to the downside. But if we continue on this pullback short term over the next 1 week or so, if that actually played out, then in that case, that would likely bring the RSI down towards oversold territory, meaning we have a limited room to the downside. If that happens, kind of like what we saw back here, and that's usually the prime where we see significant bounce. Obviously, even though we are currently looking more bearish than bullish in the shorter term, obviously this won't last forever, and eventually if this continue, then this RSI will move to oversold territory, which will be something watch out for moving forward. But if you zoom in into the smaller time section, at the 1 hour 1 day Bitcoin chart right now as I'm recording, During this slide, the price of Bitcoin ran into the 38.2 Fibonacci retracement tool on the logarithm setting. From swing low to swing high, the 38.2 percent Fibonacci level is sitting at around 28.9k. And now, if we end up seeing a confirmed break well below around 28.9k, then in that case, we will likely see a move down towards the 50% retracement level, which is the next level of support, sitting at around 28,000 to 28.1k, and below 28,000. If that level does not hold, then we have the important golden pocket area of support sitting in around between 27,000 to 27.2k. And a Bitcoin chart, obviously, I've been talking about over the last few days. We do have a divergence here on the chart, 1 day chart, which did activate, as I said in my last slide, when it confirmed a break below this level, 29.8 or 29.7k. And so once again, as I have said yesterday, this simply means we have an active price target to the downside, which is sitting at around 28,500. So if you're measuring from the current Bitcoin price to that price target at the time of record, doing this slide, still around another 2% drop in the price of Bitcoin, and total of 4% drop if you entered a trade at the point of break. So obviously, so far this has been a profitable trade if you have been watching this pattern and this technical price target. And obviously, as of right now, with this bearish and divergence and the momentum in the short term looking more bearish than bullish, it's very clear that latest in short term on the smaller time frame, we are still looking more bearish than bullish. But once again, this is all currently occurring within a larger, more multi-month long bullish trend here on the much larger time frame. But anyway, we're getting on the Ethereum. This is a 1 week day. The price of Ethereum is currently still moving toward the support in between 7070 to 1820. And obviously this is happening a few days now after we saw a confirmed break below ascending line of support, which was sitting around 1890, which should not be acting as a new resistance. So now if you're taking a look to the daily Ethereum price of oscillator right now, the daily Ethereum RSI is still looking relatively neutral, but it is potentially starting to flip more bearish, especially if we confirm a lower high in the price, which would confirm a new downtrend in the RSI. If you're looking at the daily Ethereum MAC, this is also potentially starting to flip more bearish, but with that being said, it is still showing a relatively low momentum in the short term compared to some of these previous movement, which means we shouldn't necessarily expect a massive quick crash in the price of Ethereum here on the daily time frame. This is also potentially starting to flick more bearish. Without being said, it is showing a relatively low momentum in the short term. This previous movement, which means we shouldn't necessarily expect a massive quick crash in the price of Ethereum here on the daily 1 week time frame. Instead, we like said being saying over the last few days, we're likely going to see other slight pullback in the short term. We are potentially a little bit of choppy sideways price action in between the bearish price action, which so far has been playing out as expected. So if you zoom in into the if you zoom in into the 4-hour Ethereum to US dollar chart, obviously continue the short term downside below the ascending, which once again was sitting at around 1890, and it is now sitting closer towards 1.9k, which once again should be acting as strong resistance like what we saw over the last 1 or 2 days. We saw the strong rejection from that level. And so it is very clear that in the imminent short term, we're looking more bearish than bullish when you're talking about those shorter term trend and momentum. And staying on the side, 4-hour time, looking at the Fibonacci retracement tool from swing low to swing high, we have the 50 retracement level acting as support at around 80.20 to 80.30, which is where the price of Ethereum is currently finding some support. But if we see a confirmed break well below at around 80.20, in that case, next we have the important golden pocket area of sitting in between around 70.60 to 70.70. And then now if you want to know, so this is about the Ethereum prices in 4-hour chart. There's a lot of bit of choppy sideways. In Ethereum, there's a lot of things happening in the merge. No, I know, I know the merge is old, new, but the price of prediction is relevant topic because the make an educated estimate you need to have a full grasp of, and the merge definitely changed that for Ethereum. So let's talk about this significant if you are new to the crypto march happened September 50 last year, and simply put it when Ethereum switched from proof of work to proof. And the state march referred to the Ethereum mining merging with the proof of stake blockchain called the Beacon chain. The merge made the network more secure a little bit faster, but the really big win for the merge was sustainability. After the merge was complete, Ethereum reduced its energy by 99.95, making it a green blockchain. Not only does this make more sense speaking, but it look really good for opted and silence a lot of credit. And you know, to be honest, that's really the biggest pushback of Bitcoin and to proof of work. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm all for Bitcoin, but It does use more energy in 1 year than entire country of Ukraine, and it also used 50,000 times more energy than Ethereum after the March complete. Since I'm a bit technomic, to be honest. 6. To be honest, my favorite part of the merge is what it did for the Ethereum issuance, or the new coin coming into the supply. You have to understand, unlike other coins, Ethereum doesn't have a cap on its supply. And that can be really scary for your bags. I mean, if any project double the amount of coins in its circulating supply, that really the view your investment, and that's why the March really saved the day for Ethereum in terms of supply. So before the merge, there was about 30,000 new Ethereum minted every day. Now it's only 6,000. Its issuance has dropped 90%, and it gets even better because of the EIP 5059 upgrade during the London hard fork. They implemented during a mechanism into Ethereum gas fields, and since the merge, this has gradually taken coins out of the Ethereum circulating supply, making it deflation. More on the later. We all know that Ethereum really has to work on lowering those gas fees and reducing its network congestion. So Ethereum roadmap is a sixth phase. Those phases are the merge, the surge, the scourge, the verge, the purge, and the splurge. What do each of these do? Let's take a look to the. We want to proof of work to proof of stake. The surge is upgrade related to scale by rolls up the data sharing. So the scourge is update related to censorship resistant decentralization of the MAC and stand for maximal extractable value diverge upgrade related to verifying block more easily to the purge is upgrade number of computation cost of running nodes simplifying their protocol, and the splurge is other upgrade that don't fit well into the previous category. So there is an overview what is come with Ethereum. I'm pretty sure it will take probably like 5 to 10 years to finish this roadmap. A lot of you might be wondering, what about Ethereum gas? When does sharding come into the picture? So originally, sharding is what is going to be used to the low gas fear with Ethereum. However, the layer those are develop much faster than the expected and already have Ethereum scale. A lot of more merge through. Phantom Dank sharding is implemented, so normal sharding is no longer dropped from the roadmap. And according to Ethereum website, Dank shard is layer to roll up much cheaper for user and adding blocks of data to Ethereum block. And that right there is a question of when a gas fee is going to be cheaper. There you go. And before that being said, let's get into the Ethereum price prediction. Previous all-time high was 48.47 on November 10, 2021. Ethereum circulating supply was a little of over 800 over million with a market cap around 576 billion. But it is not worth noting that Ethereum market cap from its previous all-time high is only $2 billion below Bitcoin market cap right now. So maybe the flipping is possible. More on that the second. As of right now, the Ethereum is down to around 60% from the all-time high, and the price just under $1,900. Ethereum supply is currently 20.19 million, and its market cap is over 227 billion. So yes, Ethereum has little bit work to do patch up to a term or tokenomics, its supply has only gone up 1.77 since the top of the last bull run, and this is really good considering some altcoins are going to have double the supply. So remember what I said earlier about Ethereum being deflationary since the merge? Let's look into that. Ultrasound dark money and in 2xk platform, you can look at mind-blowing fact since the merge. Here on your screen, you can see there's a lot of prices changing. That would be actually 3.2 million more Ethereum in the supply, but it didn't switch to the proof of stake. And on the website, at 2-year projections, you will see that Ethereum supply peak with 120.7 million. It's projected that by June of 2025, there will be 117.7 million on the circulation. Then figuring out what the supply is going to be by November in 2025, this is a very useful tool for me and for you if you want to do price prediction on your own. So remember the equation for price prediction is equal market cap divided by circulation supply. And I estimate that by November 25, Ethereum supply will be 170.5 million Ethereum. But what about the market cap? For this price prediction, I'm going to something I never done before. For this live, I'm going to estimate Ethereum future market cap by using dominant. So at the top of the last bull market, the total market of all crypto added up together was a little over $3 trillion. And Ethereum dominance was 22.4% at all-time high. And by the dominance, I mean 22.4% of all the money in crypto was Ethereum as its all-time high. And the Bitcoin all-time high is dominance was about 44%. So Ethereum needs to double its dominance for the flippening to happen. The flippening is a common conversation in crypto. Basically, the question is, will Ethereum ever pass Bitcoin in market cap? There are strong arguments on both sides this coin. I think this topic about that Ethereum is ever going to flip a Bitcoin is going to happen this coming bull run. So his explanation was is if you go back and look at the bull run in 2017, once Bitcoin peaked and hit its all-time high, it started to falling dramatically, and it is started to pick up because people were talking their profit for the top of the Bitcoin market and converting them into altcoin. This kind of create like a wave, and as Bitcoin dominance is falling down, Ethereum dominance is catching up. And they explain Ben's idea of we see in similar situation. We saw in 2070 Bitcoin dominance will be falling and Ethereum dominance will be catching, and that's the moment the flipping will happen, and the fact that this happen in wave what will make it possible. So keep that in mind as we move forward here. But remember all the time market cap for all crypto at the previous all-time high was a little over $3 trillion. So by the top of the next bull run, I'm hoping we can get somewhere between 7 and 10 trillion dollars. So say the overall market cap does go to the $7 trillion and dominance level. If that happens, Ethereum market cap will be $1.56 trillion, and each Ethereum will cost about $30,300. If the total market cap went $10 trillion and Ethereum regained the same level of dominance, that would take Ethereum market cap to $2.4 trillion, and one Ethereum would cost you $100. And listen, I get it. I know that the dominant chart fluctuates every day. I'm just trying to think outside the box on what's possible, considering so many people have strong feeling about Ethereum can flip and Bitcoin or not. If Ethereum did flip, Bitcoin those dominant level will go much higher. So when someone asks me what's your price prediction for the Ethereum for the top of the next bull run, I'm gonna say about 30.3 thousand to 19.1 thousand. There you go, their Ethereum price prediction. So this is about the Ethereum price prediction. So after the Ethereum, we're going to talk about Bitcoin. So let's take a look to the Bitcoin prices. Right now, it is about cardinal and climbing higher, right? So I'm gonna talk about going on this dodge, but several other like pump a little bit, and various other have also gone up about Bitcoin. It's still staying steady. Okay, tomorrow is a big FOMC day. I'm not gonna talk too much about that today because I'm gonna talk about a lot of more tomorrow. But today we did have a couple earnings. Alphabet, which is Google, they reported fantastic earnings. They beat aftermarket Microsoft, which also reported fantastic earnings. They did because their their future guidance missed expectation uh, from the analysts. I mean, it's sometimes it's so ridiculous that people just want to pick on something. They make more money with revenue and profit than expected, yet their future guidance came in a little bit lower than these analysts, and then they did again. It doesn't make a lot of whole sense, but there's one other thing that people was talking about today. And that is when we struck panic. The Dragon Mile later, a few months ago, with all the rate high. Today, it seemed like something was going on. They dropped 27% day. And many people thought, well, they're about to end. Well, they did. After market, because they have announced they are merging with Bank on California. Why did the Pac West need to merge? Because they were struggling. They were struggling, but we know this, okay? So these are gonna be buying Bitcoin by the thousand. So in the future, right? 73.5% Bitcoin is being held by long-term holder, and that include institution to and keep on rising more and more, rather all-time high and all-time. It continue to go higher, and we will see that 73.5% go to 80, and eventually 90, eventually 95%, and that's when you are not going to see a lot of Bitcoin, right? So there are so many that showing that Bitcoin is definitely recovering. The next phase, which is about wallet phase, which is Fabric phase. We are not quite there yet, but there are so many on-chain merges that show that there's always a new one that I'm not even aware about. They are all using moving average and looking at a 4-year cycle. In some way, they are calculating the tops and bottom based on the moving averages and based on the cross right there. That cross or golden cross, yeah, they all based on the same things, and the good news is they all saying the same things, which is Bitcoin has recovered from bottom and it is heading higher. And again, if you include everything that I have just said about the halving event, about instant, FOMO, and everything else, the mission supply increase of holders. I mean, you know what's coming, right? You know what's coming. Now, I said, Doge is a good 7%. We kind. It's not directly stated yet, but we know Elon has big plans for X. There are so many things that Elon working, including a payment system, which he said later this year, which is coming. Also, more feature for encryption, direct messaging, and he want to make it so that is super useful with X. And of course, speculation on what currencies are going to be used within the super. So it is a Doge and Bitcoin, maybe a little Ethereum, maybe a lot more than that, right? Who knows? But this is a reason why Doge is up again, and a lot of people speculating that something will be announced. So especially this payment system, then or a wallet, they will be supporting Doge, Bitcoin, and sure, and Ethereum. I'm sure. So that is coming. Okay. And if something big get announced for Doge, guess what it could? They can mimic and the movement from the before or 2021, right? When Elon basically announced you bought Twitter, and then he announced others said that he was going. Doge is broken. Doge is already huge, and number seven, can they go? Can they get any bigger? I guess well. So, and one other coin that I want to talk about is Ethereum. It continued to $50 million to bring more access to the blockchain. In fact, they are going to purchase $50 million worth of assets. On top of that, other maker to come aboard right now. So let's take to the Ethereum. Like Ethereum is officially broken down outside of its first ascending channel pattern here. This is a little bit bearish, but it's huge. I'm gonna why? I'm worried. First thing first, a couple announcement. There is a brand new future forecast. Is exciting day to trade crypto. We'll show you which coin he just bought with $2,000 worth of steel on price and show the extremely important. Do not miss this and how to get traders successful faster and show you inside. And the first MAC trade. Now we have dropped into the anchor yesterday. We were actually free territory or both this typical world resort. And whenever we see either of the movement, what happened in the market, it is that I'm feeling a little bit more bullish on Ethereum. Next up, you're going to look at the Ethereum breakout. You see Ethereum is within breakout zone, most significant move in the market. You saw it right here, boom right here, and significant experience to the bottom right here. That next metric is going to want to pay attention to is that there is a long trade sentiment control in the market right now from well. However, it's not quite the 800 value that we are typically looking for before. We're actually starting to see more bullish bets in the short term to medium term. I'm expecting as well. Next, we're gonna take a look to the Ethereum support resistance. So these have been moving up as we begin buying. In the next, we're going to take a look to the Ethereum major. We have a ton of charge support at 7085 and structure resistance at 928. Those are the two levels to where we are looking at. Whenever moves down, is it going to about the 785, or if it is move up, I think we're heading that. Looking the Ethereum long versus short trade increasing in this market, this is a sign that there should be move up in price, because as long trade continue increasing this push more and more upward pressure into the market, but not least in the Ethereum trade signal chart. This has been extremely reliable on calling bottom every time you see a buy a signal, we're seeing we're seeing a move down. In fact, this move down is result on a sell signal. So as the price drop out, I'm looking for a buy signal to call the next move up in Ethereum. So if you are an Ethereum trader, it is absolutely essential that you check in every single day to the live the Ethereum matrix. They will show you exactly what's going on behind and everything you need to know. On top of that, Ethereum you will get a total of we're gonna go into the live chart now. Here we are on the live chart looking at the Ethereum USD on the one day time frame. I'm trading with the dashboard of the TC top and bottom finder support resistance level breakup and the tether price versus well money. And what they're showing right now, things are looking extremely bullish, and here's why. Where all the market makers, they are the current crypto market, they have tons of money, so when they make move the entire market move with then a green line toward the bar. Bottom show that whales have oversold as they sold you can see up while money is absolutely moving in. Well while money goes the price is likely to go to some soon. There you are very likely to see move back up in the market. On top of that, trade is a favor here and showing right here at 91 chance because the line has dropped significantly into the long trade zone and combination of long trade zone reaching with a 91 chance of the plus price versus uh, through likely to see it move up soon, and on top of that a breakout detector is within a right here to breakout zone. This is told me again you saw this on the matrix. Impulse move are very likely in this market, so the next move is really reliable on the signal. I'm really looking for here is a buy signal and move up over and over again. This is what we see in the market. So if we get a buy signal as we approach the structure support at $785, we're actually seeing at least 3 buy signal there in the past. I think signal next move up in Ethereum, every move from the point result in a move of 1928 or high at 2020 or higher as we saw right here. So really for me, I just a toss up whether or not we're going to move down. So 7,085 first of from this price if we just going to head straight up to here, and 1928 is top call, but either way the short medium 10 I think we're going to see big move up in Ethereum soon, especially as Bitcoin has bottomed out and has appeared to be soon as we bounce of that entire market. I'm feeling it's going to be bullish. Ethereum is no stranger to that, no expectation. So just play out, you're going to watch this indicator absolutely circulate. There you will pay attention to that. Some of this that's market, they possibly this market and they calling those move like crazy. If you want to get access to this indicator for yourself, if you remember we're having quite interesting week so far. So because it feels like we are making on some progress on the chart. I mean, we have been waiting here for this way to correction laid out and for a little while. And so far, we see this movement now that follow through the downside deeper into the support area as in Ethereum is working to correction after we hit the 5 wave to the upside here of the so we have 5 waves up and we are waiting 3 waves down. My view is we have completed already in a wave B and we could be following through in the C wave to the downside. Other interpretation are possible, but this is my primary other interpretation where possible. Here where to play the wave one, but it was worth to just go with the flow and just stick to our primary scenario so far. So yeah, we had a wave down which like the bottom on the 17th of July. The B wave was very weak but likely top here on the 20th July. Also here, very choppy price action. Certainly other interpretation impossible and I see that as a wave complete and a B wave complete and a C wave might be unfolding now. The problem is that in the C wave, as you can see, very choppy price action here on the wave 1, wave 2. The corrector was a flex stretcher. Then the wave 3 was a little bit too short. So I have to consider that idea. We're dealing here with an ending diagonal. So that the wave 3 isn't even finished. This was just the A wave or the wave 3, which was here yesterday and low. We are now working on the B wave of 3 and will come down in the C wave, then a wave 4, then a wave 5, also in a 3-wave move. So that is why I kind of remember this idea for long ago. I just share on this Telegram. You can try on 2SK platform, but therefore I lifted resistance at about a bit 80-88, and there we got the golden ratio 1870-70 on key resistance on the B wave. Shouldn't really go to above 88. If it does that, I also break above the descending trend line, then we might always be dealing with a breakup to the upside, but it is too early to confirm that at this stage at the moment because we are moving up in a corrected wave. You can see in here there's a lot of overlap here, a very choppy price action. I will expect at least one model again. I cannot rule of that the kind. The third wave already finished here, and this is just the fourth wave. I cannot rule that. But it more likely at the moment, yeah, due to the choppiness of the move and also know how high we are going. That this is the B wave. So that the wave 3 is still unfolding. But yeah, be ready that we make one more low. That could be it. It doesn't necessarily need a 2 more low level. Yeah, so I'm watching currently, first of all, this resistance 8068, 8077, and 8088. And then on the way down, if we get one more low, 8030, it's support. There is a bit of a closer here, support areas are 80 and 8028 and 8023. Below that level, I have got 7081, which is the golden ratio. You can see that. And Ethereum is also coming down here and only to support deep in our wave 2 correction or support area actually also coming to here. There are previous swing lows, so they can provide additional support as well, and there's all around. So very, very important, the structure here, to continue to see here. Some choppy price action tomorrow, the fact day. In the interest rate decision tomorrow, that will certainly shake up the market a little bit. The prices will generate some. I will never take a price action too seriously on day like that. We need to let the dust settle to get a really good understanding about the trend. Yeah, but not much more. So there's not much more in Bitcoin. Ethereum. Let's take a look to the Bitcoin. So even though Bitcoin could be seen, it will drop over the short term. Just Bitcoin price target of a huge 1.5 million dollars has never been stronger. Now, if you don't know the story at the beginning of this year, ARK Invest put that on your big ideas 2023, where they made some big price prediction, Bitcoin and crypto, and with what's happened this year, they are more convinced than ever. Bitcoin is on track to hit this huge price target. So, as we're now halfway through the year, we're gonna check back and see how this is playing out. And we'll be looking at what Kathy Wood just to Bloomberg as to where she thinks Bitcoin price will going. For the first day, even though Bitcoin is seeing a bit of the pullback right now, let's start with the news is happening in Bitcoin. The Bitcoin could be getting on Bitcoin be getting $1.5 million. Uh, there's a bear case for Bitcoin, and there was a different categories on market that Bitcoin could be going into what percentage penetration. It would take the for the bear case, the base case. I pull back coordinate as well. So starting at the bottom, which is the this will be taking market share of gold. So this would be Bitcoin being digital gold. And then in green we have institutional investor. In red we move to global high network individual than coin a smaller layer for US bank settlement. In yellow, we have emerging market currency. So, Bitcoin becoming a full blown currency, nation state using Bitcoin in their treasury as reserve. And we have global remittance, and then we're finally cooperation, putting some of their cash. And for today price, what this work want to be is the worst case or the bear case scenario is still in the 8 time increase from today. Bear case is 22 time increase, and then in the you saw on the front of the slide, the bull case which is set now more confident on the 50x from today. Now, when it's come to the barricade, this is still $258,000, considering and mainly just to the categories. This will be taking 20% of gold market share, and institutional investors just putting 1% into Bitcoin. And me personally, I always prefer to work from the lower estimates and error on the side of catching. And for me, this is still an excellent scenario, and that thing that far out of reach. Now, but the barricades, you got 40% in the digital gold, 2.5 institutional global high net worth will be putting 3% in, and the large part as emerging market currency. And the bull case, which is go to the bid category, so it will need it, and the emerging market for block currency. There's a big chart high net worth individual institutional investor is a very large portion, and then it will be taking 50% of the gold market cap. So this still remain a very ambitious target. And one final point from me will be on this bear case. You notice it had no corporation, just a treasury, and today obviously might being the biggest, but there are business including Tesla that have already converted some of their cash into the Bitcoin. It has 0% as nation state treasury, and there are the couple of nation state who hold Bitcoin. So for me, this saying that this target and the 8 time increase, this is very realistic and we are on track. But to me, it still look like there is a long way to the goal. Now, let's take a look what will happen with your money if the scenario is played out. So on dollar, what would this actually look like? Well, on the worst case scenario, it would be turning into $800,000, which is pretty good as the base case. You now get to $2.2 million, which is obviously would be amazing. And as the bull case, a very strong 5 million. So pretty huge, but let's just look at the smaller figure. So it involved more people. Second scenario, let's do $50,000. So this open to the more people. And the worst case scenario is still dollar which in many parts of the world you could buy a property outright. So as a worst case, I say this is pretty good. As the base case, it turns into a million, which is outstanding. And then at the bull case, 2.5 million. So pretty good. And then involve the most people, that's gonna say about $20,000. As a worst case scenario, this still need turns into $160,000, which is an excellent down payment. All depend on the where you live or buying a house outright. As the base case, 440K, which is an excellent. And as a bull case, it still got to the $1 million mark, and I think we agree an investment of $20,000 turning into $1 million would be outstanding. And interestingly, that outstanding and interesting that is what Kathy wrote, such as last week. So after putting out a huge price target for Bitcoin at the beginning of the year, and Kathy would believe that we are right on the track for the best case scenario. And this means it would be a 50x from the today price turning into a largest or $20,000 investment into a huge 1 million in just a fixed 6 year. Now, with any price target here, I always prefer to err on the side of the caution and work with a lower estimate. But even her bear case still turned $50,000 into 400. Okay, so on Bitcoin, for we're going to talk about. I have been talking about for a long time. We're also very patient here to wait for this left wave and happen. And it gave us a first five-way move. I said it back, start on the live, but in support that has happened now, I would still primarily expect price to go lower in this way to correction. The idea is in Ethereum to support this area goes down into the 1080 and 70.8. So this is support on this flip level in the line, basically indicate how low can price go without invaliding our current setup, and it is expected that this line is going to launch pad for a third wave rally to 20k 30k plus. Of course, the condition is that this support level is holding. Let's to see it happen at the moment. Things are actually looking quite good, I think, but you never know what a day tomorrow. Well, the market and overall, I cannot confirm yet a low in play for this for this movement. And down the downside, I'm looking at this as counting with, so the we're gonna call about ABC. On the 18th of July on the B wave, it likely top already here on the 20th July was around $30,000. And since we're likely started to C wave to the downside, which is really only one more low, potentially over the around 20 to 20, 20 sorry, 18 to 18.4K. What is a little bit unclear is the third wave already finished of this C wave or this D wave. So unfolding what we see here on the subwave structure or third wave, and likely to confirm price action, but it doesn't more any because the resistance is 90,000, and I need to see a sustained break above that level to indicate that a lower has been, yeah, at the moment, because we are moving up in the corrected manner, and because we are hovering over this resistance, I have to expect another, and also likelihood would suggest and a wave to correction price would go typically to the 50% of retracement to the lower. We're not there yet, so we're talking about 20.3. So also the 100 extension for this wave, yo, so take the length of the wave and you compare that with the length of the wave, that choppy side, that 18.5. Likely target, they are not support reliable, but the level of the interest that need to be watched on the way down. And I would be surprised if we even go a little slower, but certainly it shouldn't go below 2,000, 60,000 to 80, because if we sustain below the level that set up, that could send us higher in the third wave, like we're likely to be in vegetate. And I think there is a really not much more to add. There isn't really much more to add. I mean that you look at the more look at the more detail. You see, we are moving on currently for correctly every likely target to the all the way to the retracement here, 29,000 to 30. We already slowing down as approach this level. You can see the move up is very corrected, so it will actually suggest further constitution to the downside. Let's see if we see further reaction. So resistance. So the third wave low at like 1850, it will send price lower to the region here on the 18.1 to 3 to leave a little bit of space. So I set 8K to, I need to see basic to the top for that. I have to really confirm the length of wave. But yeah, there's not much action now. Tomorrow will be interesting day to the update. If so, we're going to talk about Bitcoin part. Obviously, as of right now, the super trend indicator is in the green. So to the larger multi-month or the bullish trend, what we saw right back here on the 2020 and early 2023, 2022. And so technically we're speaking, it means the larger multi-month long trend at play is still currently on bullish trend, forming a higher lows and a higher high on the larger time frame. Despite the current short-term pullback, it is important to understand, even though I might be a little more bearish in the time frame, so it doesn't necessarily change what's happening here on the larger time frame. It will like how we can obviously price experience short-term bullish price action during a larger bearish trend on bear market. You're talking Bitcoin chart. Obviously, right now, Bitcoin is getting a rejection from this strong area of resistance, which that's approximately 31,000. I have been saying about last 2 weeks. So obviously, we have divergent bearish, divergent frame, which means we should not really be expecting a bullish momentum short term, and we are likely going to see either some choppy sideways price action. It is not pullback in the price Bitcoin is the most likely outcome for a bearish divergence. And so obviously this has been playing out as expected so far. On top of that, you're looking at the daily Bitcoin MAC. This is still currently looking more bearish than bullish. So as of right now, but it is worth pointing of that right now the daily Bitcoin RSI is getting toward a oversold territory. Obviously still have some room left to the downside, but if we continue on to the short term, potentially over the next 1 week or so, is that actually played out, then in that case that will likely bring the RSI territory to the room to the downside. If that happens, kind of like what we saw back here on the significant bounce. So obviously, though we are currently looking more bearish than bullish in the shorter term, obviously this won't last forever, and eventually if this continue, then this RSI will move to the oversold territory, which will be something to watch out for moving forward. But into the 8-hour, 4-hour chart right now, on this live, the Bitcoin is running into the 39.7 Fibonacci retracement tool on the logarithm, setting from the swing low to swing high to the 38.2% around and 28.9k. Now if we end up seeing a confirmed break below 29k, in that case we will likely to see all move down to where 50 retracement level, which is sitting at around 28,000 to 28.1k. At below 20, if that level does not hold, then we have the important golden pocket area of support sitting in between around 27,000 to 27.2k. And now if you zoom in into the 3-hour Bitcoin chart, over the last few days we do have a very divergence on the 3-hour chart, which activate as I in my last slide, which I confirmed break below this level on support, which is sitting at around 9.7k. Once again, I said yesterday this simply means that we have an activate price target to the downside, which is sitting around 28.5. So the Bitcoin price to the price target at the time of recording this live drop in the price of Bitcoin and total of 4% drop if you entered a trade at the point of break. So obviously so far it has been a profitable trade if you've been price target. Obviously as of right now, with that divergence still currently playing out at the momentum in the short term, looking more bearish than bullish, it's very clear that shorter term on the smaller time frame, we are looking to the more or currently occurring within a larger multi-month to the long bullish trend here on the much larger time frame. So this is about the Bitcoin and how it's going on Bitcoin and changing how's it going. So so Thank you for watching my live. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel and give a like, give a thumbs up, or you can follow me or subscribe to me. Thank you for watching. Today is Bitcoin and Ethereum.